Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. It's Fountain Pen First Impressions Day. My first impressions of this. This is the Jinhao 9016 in this beautiful translucent brown. Absolutely love the look of this. Join me now down on the table. We'll take a look at the pen. We'll walk through the body, do some size comparisons, fill the pen with ink, do a writing sample. Then I'll give you my thoughts and first impressions on this pen. Welcome down to the table. So here we've got the Jinhao 9016. Just twist this around so you can actually get a look at it. I do like the look of this. Very nice looking pen. Let's take a walk through the body. So we've got a cigar or a torpedo shaped pen. The cap looks like it's made from one single piece of plastic. We've got the clip coming out. Clip, we've got Jinhao there written on the top. Then that comes down, getting thinner as it comes down to a ball on the bottom. And it feels very, very stiff. The cap itself, so we quickly taper out. Then we go to a gradual tapering. To my eye, it looks to where we get to the bottom of that ball, then it flattens out. The bottom, we've got this gold-coloured ring. On there, we've got Jinhao. Then on the back, we've got Dadao, so this is one part of the Dadao family of pens. And 9016, which is the model number. The body, there's a drop down there. You can feel the drop down from the cap to the body. Body looks like it's staying the same width till about halfway down. Then I can start to feel it tapering in till we get that dome on the end. I love this transparent colour. I love being able to see the converter through there. Once this has got ink in it, it'll be really nice seeing that ink sloshing around. So the cap, it comes off in half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, about 2 3/4 turns. So that's a lot of turns to take that cap off. Before we look at the nib, runs through the body, we've got the converter. So this is this new larger capacity converter, same as what's in the 9019. Let's take a closer look at the nib. So the nib on here, this is gold coloured, and it's one of the heartbeat nibs. So instead of the straight separator between the tines, we've got this really pretty pattern, looks like a heartbeat on an ECG. Below the breather hole, we've got the Jinhao logo and the word Jinhao. Then below that, we've got M. This is a medium nib. Then that comes up into the section. The section, thinner than what's on the 9019, but first impression, it feels nice. It feels nice and wide. The pen itself does feel light. The pen will posts very securely. Let's swap over and we'll do some quick size comparisons. Here's today's size comparisons. We've got the Pilot Metropolitan, the Lamy Safari, both my standard comparison pens. The Jinhao, ever so slightly longer than both of them, and a lot wider than both of them. Let's take the caps off. With the cap off, we've got a number 6 size nib here on the 9016. We've got that Pilot number 5 nib there, and we've got the Lamy nib on the Safari. In the hand, the 9016, unposted, very nice, feels nice. As I say, it does feel a bit light. Posted, feels back heavy. All pens feel back heavy to me when I post them. And it does feel a bit too long. So now we've looked at the pen, time to put some ink in it. I've brought in my ink block and my ink miser. I think the bottle I'm going to be using isn't wide enough to take the section. The ink I've decided to use by Diamine, and it's ochre, so a nice brown ink. Let's pop the ink into the ink miser. There we go, pop that to one side. So here we've got the pen. Now I've already cleaned out the pen. I always give my pens a good clean and flush with clean water before I fill them for the first time. Move that all the way down to the bottom. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to try and get it on a slight angle so you can see what's happening. Let's see if we can fill this pen. That's drawing that ink up really, really well. I don't even need to do a second pass there. Look at that, I've nearly filled it with that. Let me just clean the pen off and get rid of this ink. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Now the pen's full of ink, time to do our writing tests. Here I've got my Oxford Optic paper. This is 90 GSM paper. It's nice fountain pen friendly paper. So we've got here, hey, Jinhao. $9016. I'm not going to write Dado, but it's part of the Dado family with a medium nib. The price for this pen, 14 Aussie dollars when I bought it. The ink, it's by Diamine. And it's ochre. I do like the look of this. I think we've got a nice match here for the pen body. It looks like there's some shading coming through already in this ink. Drying times, so we go immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. After a minute, we're still smudging an awful lot. Let's do a 2-minute test. After 2 minutes, well, it's still smudging, so a very, very wet combo. Let's look for line variation. So here we've got no pressure. I'm going to add a little bit of pressure. And I am seeing a slightly wider line, also putting down a lot more ink. So no pressure with, none with, none and with. When I'm doing this though, you don't see much of a difference. I'm going to move the mic down to the page and write a sentence. That's nice. The ink flows well. There's very little audible feedback. I can hear it, but it's not overly loud, not compared to some of my other pens. It doesn't feel glassy. It feels smooth, but not glassy. Personally, I'd like a little bit more feedback on it, but that's a very personal thing. But when we look at the sentence, got loads of shading coming through. Final test. So the flow keeps up quite nicely. So what are my thoughts and first impressions of this pen? I think for $14, this is a really good value pen. It writes well. I know this is just a very limited test. I will do further testing over the coming weeks. It feels nice in the hand. It's not as big as the 9019, so if you've got slightly smaller hands, this actually might be a better compromise. Does have the number 6 size nib though, whereas that 9019, that's got a number 8 size nib. I like the transparent colour. I deliberately went for this. It's very nice. I like the medium nib. Quite like this heartbeat nib. A few people had recommended it to me, so this was the first chance that I've got to actually get one to try. Writes quite nicely. And it looks a little bit different. My only thing is, if I wanted to shim the nib, that's going to be very difficult with that heartbeat pattern, so that might be a little bit limiting. But how often do I need to do that? It writes well. I like it with this ink. You know, we've got a nice match from the ink colour to the pen colour, but we're getting this nice shading coming through that I can see here in the writing, which I think adds character to what I'm putting down on paper. So all in all, really pleased with this purchase. I think it's really good value. I do have a 9013 on order, so when that arrives, I'll do a first impressions on that. Then later on, I'll do a comparison between the 9019, the 9016 and the 9013. So they're my first impressions of the Jinhao 9016 with Diamine Ochre. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. So what are your thoughts on the Jinhao 9016? How about that heartbeat nib? Unusual, isn't it? Please drop any comments down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.